So it seems lately that everyone is talking about how do we train users to use social media tools and technologies. And it came up again when I was presenting at the eLearning Guild's online forum on January 28th. I was asked to address the learning challenge of creating enthusiasm for Web 2.0 for users new to this medium or technology. During that workshop, we worked through some metaphors we might use, and then I came across a wonderful tactic used by a local media outlet here in Vermont, created in part, I believe, to encourage their readers to get familiar with Twitter and start tweeting. So here's the cover of the issue that came out in that weekly newspaper, and I have it here on screen for you to look at. This is actually a spoof of their Twitter homepage, and it served as a really fantastic training tool for their users. I also thought it would be great to model this and create an e-learning course so that we can work on how do we convey important points to know in social media to users that we deal with in our business. So I started to work on that, and I want to show you the elements I used to create that. So first I needed to figure out the design elements, which would include brand colors, Twitter fonts, and a spoof username and account. I did a search on Google for Twitter and font and came up with some recommendations to look at the Pico font, which is available for free download. And I played around with it with this Pico white and changed the internal color to turquoise to mimic the Twitter app use of this font. And here's where you'll see where I used that Pico font to create a title for the course called Twitter for Coffee Sales. I also included some elements that were common to the Twitter homepage, including a status bar update and a sidebar, as well as the navigational elements from home through sign out on the top right. And so next I needed to create the content, and I wanted to create a Twitter stream just as the local newspaper had done, and one that would show the learner the value of the information available on Twitter to them. In other words, the what's in it for me to even look at Twitter and use this. So I went to Hootsuite. And here you'll see a column in Hootsuite where I was looking for information that I wanted to show my users. This is what you'll want to search for. This is the value of having all of these different Twitter streams accessible to you. And we looked at searching for office coffee bad. In other words, being able to mine data to figure out what people are saying about the coffee in their offices. So here you'll see I actually did a snagit of a Twitter stream individually, and I collected them all in one place here in the main content area of this page. And then up top under what's happening, I put a summary of why and how we would work with this content into the status bar. And this really served as the learning challenge or the objective of this course. Since this course is focused on using Twitter for increasing sales, I mentioned finding opportunities and retweeting content, really listening to what customers are saying about the specific subject we're interested in. Next, I created a sidebar of trending topics, which would serve as the actual course pages. And as this being an introductory course, I limited this to 4 topics. And notice that these topics here on the right, they actually are all hyperlinked to the course pages themselves. And so I began to build out some of these course pages, and while these are really still storyboards at this point, I thought it would be helpful to show how I organized one of these sections for quick insights into business etiquette for using Twitter. And so here you'll see a little tweeting bird with a bunch of tweet-like thought bubbles using PowerPoint shapes to create those. And each of these were hyperlinked. These bubbles were hyperlinked to the actual pages where I would use the status update box to quickly relate why it's important to follow etiquette. So in this page, I'm giving the advice of not to send too many tweets at once. It might annoy your followers, and to instead try and use technologies, solutions like social oomph to stagger your tweets and upload for broadcast later. And here's what it looks like as a published course in Articulate. I chose a very simple player template of black and white with a simple title up top and very little navigation on the bottom. So in short, those are the main steps, and I hope you'll find this a fun way to explore social media and create trainings mocking up a Twitter page based on your course content that you want to share with new social media learners.